Hey everyone, Justine with Blue Jay Orchids. Welcome to another week of Orchid Wine Down Wednesday. Tonight we have, a very expensive wine from a local grocery. Okay, no, not really. This was a buy 2 bottles for $10 wine. Coastal Vibes, sweet red blend, and nice little twist off. Yes, we're fancy like that tonight. So pour yourself a drink of whatever you're drinking. Doesn't have to be wine. Just wine is the drink of choice tonight. And it's coastal because we're Florida. And of course, Blue Cup. So cheers. Tonight we're going to talk about... Oh, yes, we'll address the fire. A lovely, hot fireplace on my TV. Yes. Florida, we don't normally need a fireplace. But yes, so today, or tonight, we're going to talk about some cold tolerance of orchids. So right now, last couple nights this week, I've had 2 nights in one of the high 40s, and then tonight's going to be about 46. So not everything needs to come in. If you have certain cold sensitive things like vandas, those need to come in. So here, for example, Rhinantheras tend to be pretty cold sensitive. And this is a species, it's full Rhinanthera. I mean, let's see if you can focus. I don't know how well the camera's showing that, but it's a very cute little miniature Rhinanthera species because most Rhinantheras are huge. And the reason I don't have a huge Rhinanthera species is because they are cold sensitive. So this realistically should come in anytime it gets below 60, just to be on the safe side. I play around with it. Sometimes I don't bring it in until we get into the 50s. But this one is so small and easy to move. I'm normally pretty good about bringing this one in. And then another very cold sensitive type of orchid are these. We like to call these the den fowl types because the flower looks a little bit like a phalaenopsis. Kind of reminds us of that. So they can live through the cold drops, but they will drop their leaves like crazy and you'll end up with a stick. And sometimes they will rot too. Now on the flip side, there's some dendrobiums, which I don't have them in because they like to be out in the cold, like Den nobile and a few other den species. Or I can give you the name on this one while we're at it. Yeah, it's a cute little plant, sorry. But Den pretty doll. I have it growing in a mix. There's a little bit of moss in it. Yeah, I mean, it's not the best looking plant, but overall, it's pretty healthy. I mean, new growth's pretty good. I like the flower display on it. Pretty easy grower for me. But back to what I was saying. And I'm gonna get a little bit of liquid. Not bad. Just typical red blend, nothing fancy. Yes, sorry. So there are dendrobium species. There's an actual like Den nobile species that they actually want to get cold. Like you could leave those out until frost almost. And then there's Den anosmums, like the long stick-like dendrobiums or pendulous. Dendrobium anosmums, Amphiphilum, which also has a different name as well, and some other hybrids. And then there's another one which I have, which I can't remember how to say it. And then there's the Dendrobium aggregatum, which also has another name. But there's a few dendrobiums that actually want to get cold. And there's a few other Cattleyas that actually they need to get cold to bloom. So it's very important to research, and that's what the tags on the orchids tell you too. So here's a fun little fact while we're at it. Okay, so you see how this one says Renanthera manchega or whatever? You notice how the M is lowercase? That is because this is a species. If it is a species, the first letter is a lowercase. Now hold. You notice this one says cat, why not orange? You notice how it's all capital? Hybrids are capitalized. It's just one thing they decided. And then here's the flower. Pretty little reddish flower. How it just mounted on a piece of cork. It's doing pretty well. Some of the leaves aren't the prettiest, but I grow outside. Good little plants. But Cattleyas, for the most part, unless you have something like Cattleya violacea, which is a species, which I do have one. Those really don't like to get that cold. If it gets below 60, to be on the safe side, especially if you have a younger plant, bring those ones in. But there's a lot of cat hybrids that do fine. It's just, you gotta know if you have it mixed with species that like to stay warmer. And also, this all depends on if you're growing outside. Some of you guys might be growing inside or in different states or parts where you don't have to worry about the temperature change, or if you do worry about the temperature change, you've already brought them in. So I hope that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea. But yeah, most Vandas, bring them in. So my Vandas are inside. I can, I'll flip the phone around or show a picture at the end. So what I use is a drying rack that's like foldable. And that's what I bring most of my Vandas on. Because most of my Vandas are hanging, except for the ones I have in pots and stuff in the ground. We can also look at some blooms too, because they're inside, readily available. And then hope you're able to hear me. I don't have the mic on, but I'm pretty close to the camera, so I think it should read. Let's see what else. Trying to see what else I have going on. Ooh, I did make a air plant display that I'm working on. I can give you guys a little sneak peek. So, be right back. Lighting's not the best. But so I have this metal piece that I got from vacation. And I've been wondering what to do with it. And I don't know, I just randomly decided that an air plant display would be nice. So these are all leftover air plants from something I had done previously. And then I bought a few more air plants earlier this week from Trop Flora, where I went today. Yeah, so I'm filming this on Tuesday. This will come out tomorrow. So yes, today I did go to Trop Flora. So I have a little bit of footage from Trop Flora, and I'm thinking I'll probably film me making the rest of this. I think that might be a fun video. I don't know tons about air plants as far as their names and things, because air plants have names just like orchids. But I just like to appreciate just the overall like looks of the air plants. But yeah, so I will finish this, keep it inside for the holidays and Christmas and stuff, and then just hang it kind of like this and move it onto my lanai. But yeah, I think it's gonna be really cool. So let me know what you think on that. I will be back. I'm gonna hang this back up for now. Here's another pretty cold sensitive plant. This is a Vanda species. I heard from my friends that it's pretty cold sensitive. It's Vanda Mariae. And when we say palm tree, this is why I brought this one out. This is kind of what we're talking about. You see how you have all this area where the leaves have fallen off, it kind of gives you a palm tree effect. And there's different ways you can go about it. A lot of the vandas will keiki, and you know, they'll see, like here it kekied. They'll grow and it'll just get bushy on its own. Or if it really bothers you, what you can do is wait for it to grow, drop the ugly leaves, and then when you're happy with where it's at and it has enough of these roots, because vandas will sprout roots everywhere, you can actually go ahead and cut it and just start over. But yeah, if it's getting cold at all, this is one of the ones that needs to come in. It's a little bit of a baby. So I'm going to put this one back, and yeah, we'll look at those at the end. So I'll come back and talk a little bit more, but I just felt like kind of explaining what we mean when we say palm tree. This is a pretty good example of a palm tree vanda. There are worse, but this is pretty good. But yeah, kind of crazy. This is the last week before Christmas. We have this weekend. Sunday is Christmas Eve, and then Monday is Christmas. Can you believe that? Like, where has the year gone? So that leads me into, I think next Orchid Wine Down Wednesday is going to be like orchid resolutions, and also can be, you know, just normal New Year's resolutions. So if you have any good ideas of like things you'd be interested in me kind of researching and talking for next Wednesday, feel free to leave a comment. And yeah, hopefully you guys are liking the Orchid Wine Down Wednesday. This is only the second one. And I do plan to have some guests. No wine sponsor as of yet, but if you guys have some good wines that you think I should try, that would be fun too. And yeah, it's been a crazy year. So December is actually the anniversary of the year of like me doing my channel for a year. So there's been a lot of learning curves, but it's been a lot of fun. And I want to thank all my viewers that have come along for the ride. And if you have suggestions for videos or things that you're interested in me looking into, let me know. The next video upcoming, at least one of the next videos, is going to be just like a short little air plant video. And then this might be one of the last videos before Christmas. Possibly. There'll be one more Wednesday before New Year's, so I'll see you guys then. And yeah, this has been a lot of fun, and just want to really thank everyone for coming along for the journey. And yeah. Oh, so we were talking about cold tolerance. Sorry, my brain's always all over the place, and I always film these at night after the kids go to bed, so what little bit of brain I have is mostly gone by then anyway. So as far as what I do, I don't do tons of stuff because of where my growing areas are located. I'm in an HOA neighborhood, so I don't get tons of wind. And where I do get wind, it's not like my cold sensitive plants as much. My arch that I have, that's a little exposed. So I always bring most of the vandas, if not all the vandas, in from there. And then there's a few, the more you grow orchids, the more you kind of select favorites. So favorites always come in. And then gradually you start to learn what orchids can handle and what you can handle happening to your orchids, if that makes sense. For example, there's some orchids whose flowers I like, but I'm not going to put effort in to bringing them in with certain temps. Now, if we're getting a freeze, everyone's coming in or everyone's getting covered. But when we're getting dips into the mid-40s for like a few hours, as long as it's not a bunch of days back to back, or it's like raining, because raining, wind, and cold, that is not fun. That's what happened in 2021, I think. That got a lot of plants. That year got a lot of plants. Put a little drink out to all those plants that are resting in peace. Yeah, I lost plants that year. But for the most part, if you're growing in the same environment long enough, you kind of learn what you can push the limits with. Now, I'll lose leaves. I have been dealing with some rot, just because it's the nature of when plants get cold and they got wet. But nothing too crazy, because I do spray preventatives. Like I have a systemic fungicide I use, and I'll spray that when I spray my systemic pesticide as well. I don't spray a ton, but if you're growing outside here, you gotta spray, or plants are just gonna vanish overnight, basically. Especially if you have a collection that has gotten to the level I've gotten mine at. I honestly don't know how many plants I have. I'm thinking one of these days I'm gonna count. And I also might start, not necessarily downsizing, but just being a little bit more selective. And I might kind of see if I can sell some of the Vandas that I'm not super thrilled with the flowers. Just because, I'll show you in a sec. My Vanda rack is getting a little full. And stuff's just gonna grow too. Like I think I don't have room now. When stuff gets bigger, where am I gonna put stuff? Given I'm waiting for trees to get bigger. I'm also rambling. But, I mean, you guys get the idea. Talking about what I do. So yeah, if it's not getting super cold, I will just leave stuff. Then the next step is it's cold enough where I need to do stuff. So it's either shelter in place, where it's you cover stuff with a frost cloth or plastic. If you use plastic, you need to make sure as soon as that sun is up that the plastic is off, or that plastic will fry things. Frost cloth, not as much, but just that clear plastic, if you're covering with plastic, it will fry stuff if you don't get it off in time. And then I did do, I think, a picture of what I do to my lanai. So I do a plastic over my lanai and bring most of my cold sensitive stuff, because my lanai only has, so my lanai faces this way. It has a main area here, and then it has another opening here where the door is. So it's enclosed mostly, and then has a little bit of sun, but if it's cold enough, I can leave the plastic up there because nothing is in direct sun. And then if it got really cold, I could put a heater out there. I don't think I'm gonna do that route. I would maybe just leave the more cold sensitive stuff out if we get real cold. Put like some, either those hand warmer things, or put some of those Christmas lights out on the ground to make it a little warmer. And just bring like the more cold sensitive stuff in, either in the bathrooms, or right now I have it right by the lanai door, because the house is comfortable. The house, we have younger kids, so it can't get too cold in the house, so it stays about 69, 70 is what it stays at in here. And yeah, hope that gives you a little bit of insight. Hope it was a little educational, as well as, you know, just fun. These aren't meant to be too serious. It's all based off of my trial and error. And just, you know, having fun learning how to grow orchids. And winding down on Wednesday. But yeah, send me some good wine suggestions. I'm up for trying different things. And I know the last two have been red blends, but I'm open. There's one, of course it's another red blend. There's one wine from Trader Joe's that's pretty good that I might try to get. think it's like X Moon or something. It's a little sweet, but it's probably one of my favorites, at least it used to be. Haven't had it in a while though. Might be making a Trader Joe's run and have some Trader Joe's wine. But yeah, if you have any suggestions, feel free to let me know. I'm more than willing to try different wines. And so with that, I will flip the camera around and show you my Vanda area. I need to turn on the lights. So hold. Have this thing still blooming pretty, but it has not liked the cold. So I probably let it get cold a few times too many. It's dropped leaves on me and has, see that? Pretty sure that's cold damage. But still doing okay. I should take a little better care of it because it is one of my favorites. Oh, but yeah, so see, it's just a folding clothes rack. So it has hanging spots here and hanging spots up here. Oh, we're gonna get to see this one bloom. I knew this was in spike. Okay, let's do, so this is connected here. Let's do, there we go. Okay, here. What do we have? Roots are grabbing. Oh, this is fun. I like that more than I thought. Let's see. So it is a Pathionanda Moats Purple Majesty. Release. The roots likes to grab each other. Yeah, this is pretty fun. Like the lip. Lip's nice and dark. But yeah, some of the buds have either been eaten or just knocked around in transport, but still have a few more. Pretty small plant too to be giving me 2 spikes. That'll be a fun one to watch. Move this one back up. Where was this hanging? Here, I guess. There we go. Found a spike on this one. That's my magic wand. People were telling me it bloomed all the time. I didn't believe them. Starting to believe them. And of course, this one. Really love this one. Darwinara Charm. I was hoping to maybe take this to the show, but I don't know if the flowers are starting to spot, so I think she's out. This one might be a little bit more cold sensitive, but I really like it, so I'm not chancing it. This one is not going to be cold sensitive at all. Or is going to be cold sensitive. I meant to say it's not going to be cold hardy at all. Because it is Stefan Mentrada and Lamellata. Lamellata is not cold sensitive, and Mentradas aren't either, from my knowledge. But I like the flowers. And it has a cool name now, too. It's like teddy bear or something. And they smelled nice, too. But yeah, I'm debating about taking this. It got kind of beat up with the wind, and it's in a hanging thing, so I don't think I'm taking this to the show. And then this is done blooming. So maybe move that to better airflow because that's one of my favorites. Should be okay for one more day. And then need to figure out something to do with this one because I don't think it's getting watered enough. But yeah, I've heard this one isn't cold hardy too. This one's pretty cold sensitive. But yeah, so this is one of the things I do when it gets cold. So the hanging rack can hold, it's holding a fair bit, but it could hold more if it needed to. But yeah, that's what I do with the Vandas. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me for Orchid Wine Down Wednesday. Hope you enjoyed it. And remember, keep growing. Bye.